The Great Pyramid of Giza had stood for millennia, a silent witness to the rise and fall of countless empires. To most, it was a tomb. To Dr. Nalala Hassan, an archaeologist with a penchant for solving ancient riddles, it was a code. Under the baking Egyptian sun, Nalala stood at the pyramid's base, her fingers tracing faint carvings missed by countless expeditions. Her assistant, Amir, a bright-eyed linguist with boundless enthusiasm, leaned over her shoulder. "This isn't ordinary hieroglyphics," Nalala muttered, brushing away sand. "It's some kind of astronomical chart." Amir squinted. "You think the pyramid's pointing to a star?" Nalala shook her head. "Not a star. A planet." Nalala's theory had always been controversial, that the pyramids weren't just tombs but encoded messages about human origins. Her latest discovery, a metallic artifact found in a hidden chamber, cemented her suspicions. The artifact was etched with symbols that didn't belong to any known language. Back at the field lab, they worked tirelessly. The artifact's carvings revealed a three-dimensional star map when exposed to ultraviolet light. At the center of the map was a glowing marker, a planet orbiting a dim star far beyond the reach of modern telescopes. "This star doesn't exist in our catalogs," Amir said, his voice tinged with awe. Nalala leaned in, her heart racing. "Then maybe it's not from here." Securing funding for an interstellar expedition was no small feat, but the enigmatic artifact captured the attention of billionaire inventor Marcus Voss. A charismatic yet secretive figure, Voss had long been obsessed with extraterrestrial life. "You're saying the Great Pyramid is a map to an alien world?" Voss asked Nalala during their first meeting in his sleek Dubai office. "That's exactly what I'm saying," she replied confidently. Within months, Voss's private space program assembled a crew. Nalala and Amir joined seasoned astronaut commander Rachel Tran, enigmatic physicist Dr. Victor Stein, and a team of engineers aboard the Osiris Voyager. Their destination, the star marked on the artifact. The Osiris Voyager was the pinnacle of human engineering, equipped with an experimental faster-than-light drive. As the crew journeyed through the vastness of space, tensions flared. "This is a wild goose chase," Dr. Stein said one evening, his skepticism palpable. "We're risking everything on a hunch." Nalala shot back, "It's not a hunch. The evidence is undeniable." Amir intervened, diffusing the argument with a joke. But beneath the camaraderie, the weight of their mission loomed large. Weeks later, the ship dropped out of FTL travel near the designated coordinates. Before them hung a massive planet bathed in the light of a crimson star. Its surface shimmered with iridescent colors, suggesting advanced technology. "Welcome to Aaru," Nalala whispered, naming the planet after the Egyptian field of reeds, paradise in their mythology. As they approached, the planet's defenses activated. Massive structures resembling obelisks floated in orbit, emitting pulses of energy. The ship's AI worked furiously to decode the signals. "It's a warning," Amir said, translating the patterns. "They're asking for identification." Nalala held up the artifact. "Send them this." Moments later, the obelisks powered down, and a massive gateway opened on the planet's surface. The crew exchanged nervous glances before descending. Aaru's surface was breathtaking, a sprawling metropolis of gleaming pyramids and towering statues, eerily reminiscent of ancient Egypt. The city seemed deserted, save for glowing orbs that floated through the air. "These statues," Amir said, pointing to a colossal figure, "they look like pharaohs, but not human ones." The crew ventured deeper, finding a central temple. Inside, they encountered a being unlike anything they'd imagined, a humanoid figure with shimmering skin and elongated features. It introduced itself telepathically as Ankara, the last guardian of Aaru. "You carry the relic," Ankara said, addressing Nalala. "It has brought you home." Over hours, Ankara shared the truth. Thousands of years ago, Aaru's inhabitants, an advanced race known as the Sharkit, had come to Earth. They guided early humans, sharing knowledge and inspiring myths. The Great Pyramid was their parting gift, a map for humanity to find them when ready. "What happened to your civilization?" Rachel asked. Ankara's expression darkened. "A war. The Sharkit fractured, and those who sought conquest destroyed our empire. Now, only I remain." Dr. Stein was skeptical. Why wait for us? Why not return to Earth? We vowed never to interfere again, Ankara replied. But we hoped you would learn and grow. And now, you are here. Ankara revealed a hidden repository of Sharkit technology, including starships and energy systems far beyond Earth's capabilities. But there was a catch: activating the technology would signal the surviving Sharkit factions, including those bent on domination. Nalala and the crew faced a dilemma. Returning to Earth with this knowledge could revolutionize humanity, but it could also bring interstellar war. We can't make this decision lightly, Rachel said, her voice heavy. We need to think of the risks. Nalala, however, saw a greater purpose. If the Sharkit believed in us once, we can prove them right. This isn't just about Earth. It's about humanity's place in the cosmos. As they deliberated, the planet trembled. Ankara's gaze turned skyward. They found us, it said, fear evident. From the horizon, dark ships emerged, sleek and menacing, bearing the markings of the Sharkit warlords. We must defend Aaru, Ankara said, activating the ancient defenses. The crew joined the battle, using their ingenuity and courage to assist Ankara. Nalala deciphered the control systems, while Rachel piloted the Osiris Voyager in daring maneuvers. Together, they managed to repel the attackers, but not without cost. As the dust settled, Ankara made a fateful decision. You have proven your worth, it said. Take what you need to protect your world. But know this, the warlords will come. Prepare yourselves. The crew returned to Earth with a treasure trove of knowledge and a stark warning. They vowed to unite humanity against the coming threat, knowing they had only scratched the surface of the Sharkit legacy. In the shadow of the Great Pyramid, Nalala stood with Amir, gazing at the stars. We're not alone, she said softly. No, Amir replied. And we're just getting started. Months had passed since Nalala Hassan and her team returned from Aaru. The world had changed. The scientific community was abuzz with the revelations they brought back: ancient alien technologies, star maps pointing to distant civilizations, and the existence of the Sharkit, a race that once influenced human history. Yet, the true consequences of their discoveries were only beginning to unfold. The media hailed Nalala as a hero, a pioneer who had bridged the gap between humanity and the stars. Yet, the weight of her knowledge was a burden she could barely bear. The warning from Ankara echoed in her mind: the warlords will come. At a United Nations conference convened to discuss the implications of the Aaru discovery, world leaders sat in tense silence. On the podium stood Dr. Victor Stein, his face etched with both excitement and fear. Behind him, a holographic display showed the blueprints for the alien technology retrieved from Aaru, including the starships capable of traveling across galaxies. We stand at the precipice of a new era, Dr. Stein began, his voice steady but tinged with concern. The Sharkit's technology could propel us into a new age of exploration, energy, and peace. But it could also bring war. The room was divided. Some countries pushed for immediate development and use of the technology, eager to dominate the space race and unlock untold resources. Others were more cautious, urging collaboration with the Sharkit to avoid the potential wrath of the warlords. We cannot rush into this, said Nalala, stepping forward. The Sharkit are not the only ones who know about Aaru. There are factions among their kind that will see us as a threat. We need to prepare, militarily, diplomatically, and technologically. The debate raged for hours, but it was clear that humanity was standing at a crossroads. The peace they had known for centuries was fragile, and now, new players in the cosmic theater were preparing to make their move. Back at her lab, Nalala pored over the data they had brought from Aaru. She had spent weeks studying the Sharkit warlords' tactics and the advanced weapon systems that powered their fleets. The more she learned, the more she realized how little they truly understood about their enemies. What are they waiting for? Amir asked one evening, joining her at the desk. The fluorescent lights above buzzed quietly, and the soft hum of the lab's equipment provided an almost eerie backdrop to their conversation. They're not just waiting, Nalala muttered, her eyes scanning the complex star maps. They're watching us. The Sharkit warlords have been monitoring Earth for centuries. They knew we'd eventually find Aaru, but they didn't expect us to be ready to fight back. What do you mean? Amir asked, his brow furrowed in confusion. I think they've already begun testing us. Nalala turned the monitor toward him, showing a series of strange energy surges recorded in space. These anomalies, they're too regular to be natural. It's almost like they're probing our defenses, seeing how we react. Amir studied the screen for a moment, then nodded. So, they're trying to learn our weaknesses. Nalala's expression grew darker. Exactly. And if we don't act fast, they'll find them. Meanwhile, tensions continued to rise around the globe. The nations of Earth were no longer united under a single banner of exploration. Rivalries flared as resources were funneled into secretive military projects. The alien technologies retrieved from Aaru were being reverse-engineered in hidden facilities, and powerful new weapons were developed. Humanity stood on the brink of a new Cold War, one that could explode into a full-scale conflict. In an effort to curb the escalating tensions, the United Nations convened an emergency summit in Geneva. There, Nalala stood once more before a global audience, but this time, the stakes were even higher. Her message was clear. If we fight among ourselves, we will be doomed. The warlords will sweep in and crush us without hesitation. We need to form an alliance, an Earth defense coalition. We must share our knowledge, our resources, and our technology. Only then can we hope to stand against the Sharkit. The room was silent. Some of the world's most powerful leaders, rivals in the past, looked at one another in suspicion. But deep down, they knew Nalala was right. Earth had become a target. The time for division had passed. Finally, after hours of debate, a decision was reached. A global coalition was formed. Earth would unite not just in defense but in preparation for the coming war. The world's brightest minds would collaborate on developing countermeasures against the Sharkit, and the military would begin training for potential confrontations. Nalala, Amir, and the rest of the team were enlisted to help lead these efforts. But Nalala knew that the greatest challenge lay ahead, not in the development of weapons, but in understanding the true nature of the Sharkit warlords. Months passed, and Earth's defensive infrastructure grew stronger. The Osiris Voyager was refitted with new weapons and advanced shielding. The global military conducted simulations of potential invasions, and a unified space fleet was established. But still, no sign of the warlords came. Then, without warning, a devastating attack hit. It began with a series of EMP blasts that crippled satellites around the planet. Power grids flickered and went offline in major cities. Chaos erupted as communications were severed. The world plunged into a temporary blackout. Nalala and Amir were on a routine mission to the lunar base when the first reports came in. Sharkit ships had entered Earth's orbit, large, menacing, and designed for intimidation. Their arrival was not subtle. Within hours, major cities in the Pacific Rim were under siege. "We're under attack," Amir said, staring at the incoming transmissions. "It's begun." Nalala's mind raced. "We knew this day would come, but I didn't think they'd strike so soon." She turned to the crew aboard the lunar base, which had been partially protected by the defensive systems established earlier. "Prepare to launch a counteroffensive," she ordered, her voice resolute. The Sharkit warlords wasted no time, bombarding Earth's major spaceports and military installations with overwhelming firepower. They were swift, ruthless, and technologically far superior. The Earth Defense Coalition's countermeasures, though advanced, were no match for the Sharkit's sheer power. Yet, the people of Earth fought back with unyielding determination. As the battle raged, Nalala's thoughts returned to Aaru. The alien planet that had once been a beacon of hope now seemed like a distant memory. Ankara's warning echoed once more in her mind. The warlords will come. And now, they had come. In the chaos of the war, a hidden message arrived from an unexpected source. Ankara had somehow managed to contact Nalala once more. "We were not the only ones to hide from the warlords." Ankara's voice resonated through the encrypted transmission. "There are others, descendants of the Sharkit who reject the warlords' rule. They are willing to ally with you." Nalala's heart skipped a beat. Could they truly turn the tide of this war? But before she could respond, the transmission abruptly cut off, leaving only a cryptic message: "Find the hidden city. The key to victory lies there." The warlords were closing in, but for the first time since arriving on Aaru, Nalala felt the spark of hope. There was still a chance to defeat them. The Earth Defense Coalition was in turmoil. The Sharkit warlords, with their overwhelming might, had crippled Earth's defenses. Entire fleets had been destroyed, cities ravaged, and the world was on the brink of total collapse. Humanity's survival now depended on a fragment of hope, the hidden city on Aaru, and the possibility of an alliance with the descendants of the Sharkit who had rejected the warlords' tyranny. In the midst of the chaos, Nalala Hassan and her team continued to search for the hidden city on Aaru, as instructed by Ankara. The coordinates had been embedded in the ancient artifacts they had recovered from the alien planet. Though these cryptic signals had eluded them before, Nalala knew that finding the city was their last hope. "Time is running out," Amir said, staring at the star charts and data streams. "The warlords are growing bolder. They're using advanced cloaking technology to hide their ships from our sensors." "I know," Nalala replied, her voice strained. She paused, reflecting on the gravity of their mission. "But if Ankara's people are real, they may hold the key to defeating them. We can't stop now." The team of explorers, now led by Earth's military commanders, set out once more to Aaru. This time, the stakes were higher. Every moment brought Earth closer to destruction, and the warlords were closing in on their hidden world. "We have to find that city, or it's over," Rachel Tran, now the leader of the Earth Defense Coalition's Space Force, said grimly. "We'll find it," Nalala said, her determination unwavering. "And we'll fight for humanity's future." The Osiris Voyager arrived at Aaru's orbit, where a massive Sharkit warship loomed ominously in the distance. Its energy signatures were unlike anything the crew had encountered, dark, pulsing, as if alive. The warlords were close, and they knew that any further delay would be fatal. "We're not going to be able to avoid detection for long," Rachel warned. "They've likely already spotted us." Nalala felt her heart race. The hidden city of the Sharkit was somewhere on this world, buried beneath its surface or hidden in its vast deserts. They had to move quickly before the warlords found them first. Using the data they had gathered from their previous visit to Aaru, the crew located the coordinates deep in a labyrinthine system of caves beneath the planet's surface. The entrance was shielded by an ancient energy field, a remnant of the Sharkit's long-lost civilization. As they descended into the depths, the walls around them began to glow with ethereal blue light, as though the planet itself was alive and watching them. Amir's voice broke the silence. "We're close. I can feel it." Suddenly, the ship's systems blared an alarm. The warlords had detected them. A massive fleet had entered Aaru's atmosphere, and they were preparing to bombard the planet from above. "Go! Now!" Nalala shouted. The crew quickly navigated their way through the twisting, glowing caves, the walls narrowing as they ventured deeper. Finally, they reached an enormous chamber, and before them stood the hidden city, an awe-inspiring metropolis of colossal structures, towering pyramids, and intricate hieroglyphs that shimmered like stars. "We've found it," Rachel whispered, a sense of awe in her voice. But there was no time to marvel at the sight. The warlords' ships were closing in fast. As the team entered the city's core, they were greeted by a group of Sharkit survivors, tall, elegant beings whose skin shimmered like starlight, their eyes filled with a quiet wisdom. "We've been expecting you," one of them spoke, her voice soft but firm. "You carry the relics of our ancestors. You are the key to our salvation." The leader of the survivors, named Zara, explained the history of the Sharkit and their exile from the warlords. Thousands of years ago, the Sharkit had been a peaceful race, their civilization built on knowledge and harmony. But a faction of their people, driven by greed and lust for power, sought to conquer other worlds, including Earth. The resulting war had torn their civilization apart, and those who opposed the conquest had been forced into hiding. "We were once rulers of the stars," Zara said, "but the warlords turned on us, corrupted by their desire for domination. They sought to enslave humanity and other races, and they would stop at nothing to achieve their goals." Nalala listened intently, her heart heavy with the weight of their words. The Sharkit had once been allies to humanity, guiding the ancient Egyptians, teaching them secrets of the universe, but their betrayal by their own kind had led to their downfall. Now, they were offering their help to prevent Earth's destruction. "If we are to defeat them," Zara continued, "we must unite all factions of our people. The warlords will never allow peace, but if we stand together, we may have a chance." "We're running out of time," Rachel said urgently. We need to act now. The warlord's fleet descended upon Aaru, and the battle for the planet's survival began. Nalala, Rachel, and the rest of the team worked alongside the Sharkit survivors to activate the ancient technologies buried beneath the city's surface. With Zara's guidance, they powered up the ancient defense systems, massive energy cannons and shields that could protect the planet from the warlord's onslaught. As the warlord's ships unleashed devastating firepower, the Sharkit's defense network came online. A series of massive energy blasts shot into the sky, striking the enemy ships with pinpoint accuracy. The warlords retaliated with equal ferocity, but they were unprepared for the full strength of the combined Earth and Sharkit force. The battle raged for hours. The Osiris Voyager joined the fight, providing air support and launching precision strikes against the warlord's flagship. Meanwhile, on the ground, Nalala and the Sharkit warriors engaged in a brutal guerrilla war against the invaders, using their advanced technology to cripple the enemy's ground forces. At the heart of the conflict, Nalala faced the leader of the warlords, a towering figure with dark, gleaming armor and eyes burning with hatred. You are too late, human, the warlord sneered. The Sharkit are ours to control. The galaxy will bow before us. Nalala's eyes narrowed. Not while I'm still breathing. In a final, desperate move, she activated the ancient relic, the artifact they had carried with them from Earth. It glowed with an immense, otherworldly power. A massive pulse of energy shot from the relic, engulfing the warlord's flagship in a blinding explosion of light. The warlord's fleet faltered, their command structure collapsing. The survivors retreated, leaving the planet to the Sharkit and their new allies, Earth. With the warlords defeated, the surviving Sharkit and humanity began to rebuild. The hidden city of Aaru, once a place of sorrow and exile, became a symbol of unity and hope for the future. As Nalala stood on the steps of a newly constructed temple, looking out over the city, she realized that their victory was just the beginning. The galaxy was vast, and now, with the Sharkit as allies, humanity had a chance to explore the stars as equals, not as prey. We've won, Amir said, joining her at the top of the steps. For now, Nalala replied, her gaze fixed on the horizon. But there are still many secrets out there. And many challenges ahead. The stars above seemed to beckon, full of promise and danger in equal measure. Nalala knew their journey was far from over. The galaxy was vast, and the hidden planet of the Pharaohs had only been the first step in humanity's cosmic destiny. The galaxy had changed. The warlords of the Sharkit were no more, and with their defeat, Earth had entered a new chapter, one where humanity was no longer an isolated species, but a fledgling power among the stars. Thanks to the alliance with the Sharkit survivors, the secrets of Aaru had opened a door to a universe teeming with ancient technologies, forgotten civilizations, and untold mysteries. But not all of the galaxy's shadows had been vanquished. Months had passed since the final battle on Aaru. Humanity and the Sharkit worked tirelessly to rebuild the shattered planet, restore the damaged technologies, and unlock the secrets of the vast ruins that stretched across the surface. The warlords' reign of terror was over, but in their wake, new challenges emerged. On Earth, a tenuous peace had settled. The world's governments, once divided and suspicious of one another, had united under a common banner, the Earthstar Coalition. This new alliance, supported by the Sharkit, was a beacon of hope for a new era. Yet, beneath this fragile peace, unrest simmered. Nalala Hassan and her team were at the heart of it all. She had become an ambassador of sorts, leading humanity's efforts to navigate its new role in the galactic community. But she felt the weight of her responsibility growing heavier with each passing day. The victory over the Sharkit warlords had been a temporary reprieve. The real threat, she feared, was still out there, somewhere in the depths of space. We can't stay complacent, Nalala said one evening, looking over the latest reports. Earth had made significant strides, but there were still scattered rogue elements and factions across the galaxy that refused to accept the newfound order. Some of them were former allies of the warlords. Others were ancient factions seeking to exploit the power vacuum. We need to prepare for what's coming, Amir replied, walking into the room. We can't assume that the warlords were the only ones with designs on Earth. There are others who've been watching us for years. And we've only scratched the surface of Aaru's secrets. Nalala turned to him, her expression thoughtful. I know. The Sharkit mentioned something about the echoes of the gods. I think it's more than just a warning. I think it's a signal. What do you mean? I think there's something bigger out there, something the Sharkit feared. The warlords may have been defeated, but they were just one faction. The echoes could refer to an ancient civilization, or an entity, more powerful than we can even imagine. The revelation about the echoes had sparked a new sense of urgency. Nalaala's team, alongside the Sharkit, embarked on a mission to uncover the true nature of these ancient beings or forces, hoping to prevent them from finding Earth before they were ready. Their first lead came from the remnants of Aaru's archives, which hinted at a powerful entity known only as the Nexus. This could be the answer, said Zara, the Sharkit leader who had become one of Nalaala's closest allies. The Nexus was a force that once bridged entire galaxies. The Sharkit records mention it in whispers, a being of unimaginable power, able to manipulate reality itself. Amir, always the skeptic, raised an eyebrow. And the warlords never told us about it. They were afraid, Zara said softly. The Nexus is the true ruler of the stars, not the warlords. The warlords were simply its servants, manipulating civilizations for their own gain. Nalaala felt a chill run down her spine. If what Zara said was true, then the warlords had been mere pawns in a much larger game. And if the Nexus was still out there, it was only a matter of time before it turned its attention to Earth. Determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, the team set out to follow the coordinates embedded in the ancient records. The journey led them to a distant star system, beyond the reach of Earth's current spacefaring capabilities. It was a desolate, forgotten place, devoid of life, except for one thing. A massive structure, an enormous ring of unknown material, hovered in the dark void. Its sheer size and scale were beyond anything humanity or the Sharkit had ever seen. It pulsed with a faint, eerie light. Is this it? Rachel Tran, now leading Earth's military forces, asked as they approached the ring. The Nexus. Nalaala nodded, her voice a mix of awe and fear. It has to be. This is the heart of the echoes. As they docked their ship near the ring, an unnatural stillness hung in the air. The structure was silent. Too silent. There were no signs of life, no hum of energy that usually accompanied such massive constructs. But as they stepped onto the surface of the ring, they immediately felt a strange pressure in the air, a weight that seemed to bear down on them from all directions. This place doesn't feel right, Amir muttered, looking around nervously. It's ancient, Zara said. Older than the Sharkit, older than anything we've encountered. It was designed to keep beings like us away. Nalaala's gaze remained fixed on the structure. She could feel something deep within its core, something powerful, waiting. And then, as if answering her thoughts, the ring began to glow. Faint lines of blue energy traced across its surface, and the ground trembled beneath their feet. Get back! Rachel shouted, but it was too late. A blinding light erupted from the center of the ring, enveloping them in a wave of energy so intense that it knocked them off their feet. For a moment, there was only light and sound, unearthly, reverberating tones that seemed to reach deep into their minds. Then, the light receded, and they found themselves standing in the middle of a vast, shifting landscape, an alien world that seemed to exist outside of time. Giant pillars rose from the ground, and strange, ethereal beings hovered in the air, their forms shifting and flowing like liquid. What is this place? Amir asked, his voice trembling. This is the Nexus, Zara whispered, her eyes wide with awe. It is a bridge, not just through space, but through time. The Nexus is not a being, it is a consciousness, a collective of all the ancient civilizations that ever existed. Nalaala stepped forward, her eyes scanning the horizon. She felt something stir within her, a presence, ancient and powerful. It was as though the Nexus was reaching out to her, testing her. We are the echoes, a voice boomed, not from any single being, but from all around them. The air seemed to pulse with the words. You seek power, but it is not power you need. You seek knowledge, but it is not knowledge you desire. You seek something deeper, something that will change the course of history. Nalaala's heart raced. What do you want from us? The voice paused, and then answered, You are the last of your kind to stand before us. You will carry our legacy, or you will fall like those before you. The Nexus shall guide you, but only if you prove worthy. Show us that humanity is ready, or you will cease to be. The team stood in stunned silence, processing the gravity of the voice's words. They had come seeking the secrets of the echoes, but now they were faced with a choice, one that would shape the future of Earth and the galaxy. This is it, Nalala said, her voice steady but filled with resolve. We either prove humanity's worth, or we lose everything. Zara turned to her. We don't have much time. The warlords may be gone, but the Nexus is not the only force out there. Others, older, darker powers, are watching. Nalala nodded. The weight of their mission had never been clearer. The stakes were higher than ever, and the choice was no longer just about Earth's survival. It was about humanity's place in the galaxy, and whether it would rise to meet its destiny, or fall to the darkness lurking in the cosmos. Let's begin, Nalala said, stepping forward. We have to prove humanity is ready. As the team advanced toward the center of the Nexus, the stars above seemed to watch in silent judgment. The future of the galaxy lay in their hands. The time had come. Humanity stood at the precipice of its greatest challenge, a challenge that would not only determine Earth's place in the universe but also decide whether it would survive in a galaxy filled with ancient, powerful forces. The Nexus, a sentient, cosmic consciousness, had given them an ultimatum. Prove humanity's worth or face obliteration. As Nalala and her team advanced deeper into the Nexus, the atmosphere around them thickened with anticipation. The very air felt alive, charged with an energy that was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. They could sense the presence of the Ankara Nexus, watching, waiting. But no longer were they afraid. They had come this far. Now, they would face the truth. The ground beneath their feet shimmered with a soft, radiant glow, as if the planet itself was breathing. The Nexus, it seemed, existed in a space beyond time, a place where reality itself was malleable, shifting like sand. And at the center, a towering figure stood, an ethereal being, neither entirely solid nor fully immaterial. It was the Nexus's physical manifestation, its presence a blend of light, shadow, and knowledge. You are the last of your kind to come before us, the voice boomed, reverberating in their minds. Do you truly believe humanity is ready to wield the power of the stars? Nalala stepped forward, her heart steady but filled with the weight of her responsibility. She glanced at her team, Zara, Amir, Rachel, and the others, who stood with her, united in purpose. We believe humanity is ready, Nalala said. We've made mistakes, but we've learned. We've risen from the ashes of war, of division. And now, we stand united, ready to take our place in the cosmos. We ask for your guidance, not to control, but to learn, to grow. The Nexus paused, as if considering her words. The ground beneath them hummed with energy, swirling around them in patterns that suggested an ancient knowledge beyond their comprehension. Nalala's words had been simple, but they held the weight of humanity's entire future. The Nexus was no stranger to civilizations that had risen and fallen. It had seen empires crumble, worlds burn, and species fade into nothingness. The question it posed was not one of arrogance or power, it was about hope, evolution, and survival. This is not a trial of strength or might, the Nexus's voice echoed, but of wisdom and humility. We are the collective memory of the ancient civilizations that once spanned the stars. Many civilizations believed they were ready, only to fall when they reached beyond their grasp. The question is not whether you can wield the stars, it is whether you can protect them. Nalala nodded, her voice unwavering. We can protect them. Earth will not seek dominance. We seek to learn, to protect, and to ensure that the mistakes of the past are not repeated. The Nexus seemed to soften, its light dimming slightly, as if considering the sincerity of her words. Very well, it intoned. You have passed the first trial. But there is more to be done. To prove your worth, you must demonstrate your ability to coexist with the forces of the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as stewards of life. The air around them shifted, and suddenly, the team was standing before a holographic projection, a vast star system, teeming with planets, moons, and unknown life forms. Some of these worlds were lush and thriving, while others were barren and desolate. You must restore balance, the Nexus continued. Throughout the galaxy, there are pockets of life that need guidance. Some are lost, others have fallen prey to darkness. You must use the knowledge and technologies you have gained to heal these worlds. Only then will you have proven yourselves worthy. Nalala exchanged a glance with her team. The task was monumental. The fate of countless worlds rested on their shoulders. But they had no choice. They had come too far, and humanity's place in the stars was not negotiable. We will do it, Nalala said, her voice resolute. We will heal the galaxy. With that declaration, the Nexus's projection shifted once more, showing them a path, a series of star systems, each with its own set of challenges. Some of the planets had been devastated by war, others had suffered from neglect and exploitation. Some were inhabited by species that had never encountered other sentient life before, while others were on the brink of extinction. The team had their work cut out for them, but they were no longer the same explorers that had first stumbled upon the Great Pyramid. They had learned from the Sharkit, from the ancient technology they had uncovered, and from the wisdom of the Nexus itself. They understood that their task was not about conquering or colonizing, it was about restoring balance, fostering cooperation, and ensuring the survival of all life in the galaxy. In the weeks that followed, Nalala and her team embarked on a journey that took them across the stars. They assisted planets ravaged by warfare, helped heal ecosystems poisoned by greed, and brokered peace between long-feuding civilizations. They began to build the foundations of a galactic alliance, one that was not built on power, but on the principles of mutual respect, stewardship, and shared destiny. They encountered beings from distant worlds, some peaceful, others hostile, but all with their own stories to tell. Each encounter taught them something new, reminding them of the complexity of life in the universe. And with each victory, no matter how small, they knew they were getting closer to proving humanity's worth. As they stood at the helm of their ship, looking out at the vast expanse of stars before them, Nalala felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The galaxy was vast, filled with mysteries and challenges, but humanity had found its place. They had learned the most important lesson of all, that true power lay not in domination, but in understanding and cooperation. The Nexus had entrusted them with a legacy, one that could either elevate them to unimaginable heights or lead them to ruin. But with each passing day, it became clear that humanity had chosen the right path. They had chosen hope. As the team looked toward the stars, the future remained uncertain. They had made great strides, but the galaxy was vast, and dangers still lurked in the shadows. The echoes of the gods, the Nexus, and the other ancient forces that had shaped the cosmos were not finished with them. There were still worlds to heal, still challenges to face, and still mysteries to uncover. But Nalala knew this. Humanity was no longer alone. They had become part of something much larger, a community of civilizations that stretched across the stars. And together, they would shape the future. The legacy of the pharaohs, the ancient aliens who had once ruled Aaru, was not just a chapter in history, it was a living, breathing testament to the potential of all civilizations. Aaru had been a cradle for an advanced culture, but it was not the end of the story. It was only the beginning. With this knowledge, humanity stepped boldly into the future, ready to face the challenges that awaited them, knowing that they had earned their place among the stars.